first thing I want to do is I want to make a backing track. So I'm going to go to my music library, and we're going to use the Highway to Hell album for this. So what I'm going to do is open this in a program called GoldWave. Now, this magic program is basically the best thing for isolating guitar tones and creating backing tracks. So we're going to go to Effect, Stereo, Stereo Center. Now this is where you can manipulate the entire stereo field. So what we're going to do is we want to remove the side channels because we're going to end up doing our own guitars. So we'll put it, actually we don't want to do that, we don't want to remove them, we want to reduce the sides. We'll drop this to 25%. So real quiet. So we should see a huge drop in both the sides. Yeah, so this whole thing just got a lot quieter. So let's listen to the same passage. Now you hit start amp match. It's telling you right now that everything that you've done is basically going to get overwritten. So if you wanted to save anything, then save it. But we don't need to do anything. So we have a solo guitar track. We're going to use that. So we're going to go browse for a file. And we're going to do the Highway to Hell intro that we had. It says it'll only analyze the first 20 seconds, and that's fine. Now I'm going to hit start capture, and it's going to analyze your audio file. And then you just sit and you wait, and it does its thing. Alright, and so it's done analyzing our file. So now it says make sure your guitar is connected through your interface to your computer. We've got that done. And here's what we got. So you can either honestly, I can't even select any of that. So what you want to do right here, it says amp type. Select the term that best describes the sound of, your amp, or in this case, the audio file we're trying to match. Now, AC/DC, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a crunch. So we're going to hit crunch, and we're going to hit start capture. And then it's going to wait for the input. It says waiting for input signal. So the second I start strumming, it's going to just tell me to keep playing for a certain amount of time. So I'm just going to, you can play whatever you want, but I'm just going to play Highway to Hell because that's what we recorded and that's what we're trying to match. Okay, so it says instrument captured. Now, what we've been waiting for, we hit amp match. Alright, you can save it wherever you want. I'm just going to save it as in crunch, and I'm going to call this AC/DC Highway to Hell, and lead. Save and continue, and now let's see how well it matched. Like, that's basically it. The only thing we're missing is a little reverb, which we can turn on right here. I don't know if you can tell by the smile on my face, but goddamn, that sounds basically exactly the same. I'm going to amp match, start amp match. We have a solo guitar track. We're going to browse. Alright, rhythm match. Alright, we're gonna start. Cool. So, we have it connected. It's a crunch setting, and we're just gonna rock it. Okay, and we're gonna hit amp match. We're gonna name this AC/DC. Highway to Hell rhythm. You turn up the noise gate, and so we should. Now I'm going to click on these tracks and I'm going to render tracks to monostem tracks. I want this to be called guitar bus. And we're going to take these and we're going to send them into this guitar bus. The main thing I use, Slate Digital Virtual Mix Rack. Now I've already got a preset that I made. I call it Vintage Guitar Minimal. And that looks like a lot of stuff for something minimal, but what we're doing is virtual channel emulation of a Neve 1073, because, you know, that just adds character, as well as this preamp, which is same exact thing, as well as this EQ, which is doing basically almost nothing. We're rolling off everything to 50 hertz. So everything 50 hertz and below on the guitars, just, we don't need it. It's just low-end garbage that's gonna just make our mix sound muddy. So we got rid of that. We're doing nothing. At 3.2K, we are doing not even a dB of increase. And high shelf, we're not doing even a dB of increase. And then on this next EQ, same thing. We're doing a roll-off around 50 hertz. And we're actually low passing up to 13K. So everything above 13K, we're getting rid of it because we don't need it. And then for this, we're running the distressor 4:1 ratio, and we're literally just trying, we're not even trying to compress the guitars really. We just want to try to keep them level. Usually I just add these to their own things, but I want to do something a little bit different, so we're going to call this lead verb and rhythm verb. We want a guitar verb. Alright, and I'm actually just going to copy and paste because I do want actually a little bit on this side, but we don't want the, we'll have that like set to like 6%. Alright, cool. So, another thing I like to do is virtual tape machine. Gives the sound a little bit fatter, a little bit warmer. And I experiment either it going into virtual mix rack or mix rack going into the tape machine. It really doesn't matter. It's all personal preference and what you hear and what you think sounds best. So on the master fader, we're gonna do another virtual mix rack. I usually start with this. Usually I'll add another compressor just to help glue things together. There's a whole bunch of different compressors you can use. I kind of like this, and we'll go with full mix glue. Alright, cool. So that worked a lot better. At least to my ears. I like the sound of that a little bit more. Okay, so we have this going. This is basically, let's see, we're not even increasing anything over there. Not even a dB more of 3.2K. Not even a dB at, let's see, what is that, 80 hertz. Nothing there. I turned on a high pass filter at 30, just we don't need that subsonic stuff. You know, we're barely adding anything to the low and high lift, and we're on 2 to 1, just barely getting 2 to 3 dB gain reduction at all. You know, we're just adding a little bit of color with stuff like that. And here we're set to the 1/2 inch 2 track, 456, 30 IPS. We could even do FG9 if we wanted to. It's whatever sounds good. And this is, you know, simulating printing to tape. And then last but not least, we put it through a limiter. We don't want this for compressing. We just have a pretty much a standard go-to for settings. It's about here. And everything doesn't have to be blistering loud, so I try to keep my songs in between -14 and -12 dB. Even though that honestly might even be too loud, who knows. So I think we're pretty much good to call this done. I think I'm going to render this, and we'll just call this highway to hell tone test. Alright, we'll close that, double check, give this a listen to. I think that basically covers everything from start to finish. Like, we went from nothing to basically completed song cover. And you know, it's really ridiculous how close you can get to the actual album. And then, you know, just little, very, very slight, small tweaks to EQ, adding a little bit of compression and some console emulation and some tape emulation, just to give things, you know, a slightly less digital, you know, feel and sound print. You know, try to make it sound analog, because that's all those good records were analog, so we want to try to replicate that as much as we can. And so, you know, doing a little bit of that, and a little attention to detail, you know, getting guitar levels right, you know, we can make it sound like we're actually playing on the album. And, you know, and that's what I go for. And sometimes I guess I get too close, because then we get some people that think, hey, that's fake, you're not actually playing that. But I see it as a compliment. It just shows that I'm doing something right. And if I can honestly fool some people into thinking that I'm not playing, then mission accomplished. Throw some discussion in the comment section. You know, let's talk about stuff. If you have questions, let me know, and I'll see what I can do. And yeah, other than that, I think that covers it. So you see anybody, you know, saying that one of us is faking it, look them over this video, and they can sit through. Take care.